Good morning once again. So kindly look into the that what technical part. So if it is possible now, you can uh, rectify it. Okay. So then 1 minute. Excuse me. One person is coming here. Yeah. Now ready. So Saturday types of chemical bonds. Before that, two types of elements: electropositive and electronegative. When those two atoms comes in contact with each other, what type of electronic transaction happens and what type of bond is formed. Accordingly, electrovalent, covalent, metallic, hydrogen, and coordinate bond or dative bond. So these we studied in our previous session. Now today, separately we deal with what covalent compounds. Covalent compound is very important in all other bonds. Why? Because if you see the modern periodic table, most of them are electronegative only. So what kind of atoms will prefer to go for covalent bond? The one who prefers to share. Who wants to prefer share? It is the electronegative. Okay. So extreme left, the alkali and the alkaline. Okay. So they prefer ionic, and in between mixture. But whereas right side it is covalent. So most of the examples belongs to covalent bond. Hmm? So and we are also going to learn covalent bond develops ionic character and ionic bond develops covalent character. So all these, that means in the covalent bond certain amount of electrovalent bond is there, and in the electrovalent bond certain amount of covalent bond is there. All these will learn in what sessions to come. Okay, so in detail we go about the covalent only, almost 90%. So 10% about the 5% about the electrovalent, and about the hydrogen bond again 5%. So it is 90 plus 5 plus 5. So we don't have dative bond in the 11th class. One small example I took from ammonia hydrogen giving ammonium ion. So otherwise all examples for dative bond we learn in the 12th class. Okay, right. So covalent bond, that means contribution from both, it is called co. Okay, so valency contribution from both is called as covalent. Sharing of electrons, that gives you the result. Okay, right. Please see here. So yeah, now yeah. So this is in the beginning. Uh, Causal Lewis, they started the bonding theory, and Causal left, and Lewis continued. Lewis continued. So Lewis was a very intelligent scientist. So he will continue. So in the study of covalent also, maximum contribution from the Lewis is towards covalent bond only. Hmm? So now along with the Lewis, Langmuir is there. So he will come and join. The Lewis is the common factor where whether it is a causal Lewis or the Lewis Langmuir concept or theory. Okay, right. So it is formed by the sharing of electrons between the two atoms. Those two atoms, minimum two. So more allowed. So those two minimum combining atoms, they may be similar or different. If the two combining atoms are similar, they are called as homoatomic molecules. H2, O2, N2, Cl2, and so on. Okay, P4, S8. Hmm? So in those, two atoms are same. In the H2, HH same. In the O2, OO same. In the same way, in the N2, Cl2, the combining atoms are same. And they are called as what? Homo, similar, same. So homoatomic molecules are they are also called as what? Molecules of an element. So actually they are element only. So because they occur in the molecular form, therefore they are called as what? Molecules of an element. And the next is what? If the combining atoms, whether two or more, if the combining atoms are different, they are called as what? Heteroatomic molecules. Different. Hetero is different. And they come under the what? Molecules of a compound. So homoatomic or molecules of an element, heteroatomic molecules of a compound. So some examples I wrote. There are variety, millions of examples are there in chemistry. So the moment we proceed, so one by one we understand how the covalent bond is formed. Okay, and an important concept also we are going to learn in this. Okay, why it is not going? Yeah, it is going right. If atoms share one pair, then it is called single bond, single covalent. Okay, in the case of hydrogen, in the case of chlorine, so only one pair, one from one chlorine, other from other chlorine. So Cl single Cl, Cl2. So it is called what? Single covalent bond. Why covalent? Because the transaction is sharing. Why it is single? Only one pair is shared. Okay, right. If two pairs of electrons are shared, that happens in the case of what? Carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon, total number of valence electrons are 4. So this side you put 4, this side the 2, this side is 2. So 2 electrons from each oxygen. So they have gone for the double bond formation because 2 pairs, no. One pair, single bond. 2 pairs, double bond. Okay. Same thing is there in the case of oxygen also. So if you want to draw the structure of oxygen molecule, O double bond O it is. Okay, because it is 2,6 oxygen. So oxygen wants 2 electrons. That's why 2 pairs of electrons are shared between 2 oxygen atoms in O2, and in the case of CO2, same thing happening. So on the left hand and on the right also, 2 pairs of electrons are shared. So because of this, in the carbon dioxide, we have 2 double bonds. One is pi, one is sigma. That we'll learn in the next session. If atoms share 3 electrons, 3 pairs, okay, then it is got triple covalent bond. That happens in the case of nitrogen, cyanide. Okay, so there are many molecules of an element or molecules of a compound where we find triple bond. Carbon-carbon triple bond is there. So N triple bond is there. C triple bond N is there. C triple bond O is there. Okay, many are there triple bond. Okay, so when the 3 pairs are shared, depend upon the demand. So we have 3 what bonds, and that is called what? Triple covalent bond. Single covalent, double covalent, and triple covalent depend upon the requirement. Okay. So now how to draw using the Lewis structures, all these examples. Okay. So there are some rules, and remember you have to keep in the mind what? Octet rule. Okay. So Lewis always was giving importance to the stability octet rule. Okay. So all these examples of that theory part you go through. So when the example starts, this example directly I have taken from the textbook. So these are examples are very important from the exam point. So directly I have taken from the famous NCERT textbook for 11th class chemistry. First is what? H2 single, O2 double, O3 one single, one double, NF3, NF3 what? All single, CO3 one double and two single, HNO3. Okay, so one double and two single, and depend upon the what addition of electron, removal of electron, they acquire correspondingly positive or the negative ion. Okay. So this is what? This is called showing the valence electrons using the dots. Okay, using the cross mark. So that method is called what? Levy's representation of molecules in covalent bonding. See, all these we have to learn. So next is what? Once we understand how many electrons are there between the two atoms, whether it is one pair, two pair, three pair. Now we will think what? Formal charge. Okay. See, uh, formal is a what? Official word. We say no. Tomorrow there is a formal meeting between the principal and the guest. Okay. Informal meeting is what? Just casual by taking tea or the lunch, dinner. So generally they speak. There is no special what official office that what the dress code, office rules and the regulations are maintained. Okay, so it is a formal. So here formal, what is formal charge? A charge created when the two atoms will combine and they go for the covalent bond. That charge is called as the real charge or the formal charge, the official charge of that group or atom. Okay, so that's why I have written formal charge is what? Formal charge is, it is nothing but accountability of electrons. Why accountability? So we have to account, whether the particular atom has lost, gained, shared, what all happened, we don't know exactly. So we have to account. So whenever you go to trip, so by students, then the in charge will ensure every step. So whenever they get down, so he will count whether all the students are there or not, because it is students are most important than any other what a trip. Okay, trip you can enjoy even afterwards. If all the how many students went from the campus, same students if they return, so that is called accountability of what students. Here also, how many electrons were there in the beginning, in the neutral, now during the formation of a covalent bond, whether they are there or any loss is there, how much loss, how much gain. So all that comes under what? All that comes under the accountability of electrons. Okay, so just kindly go through the chart, colorful chart. So it will tell how to calculate the formal charge. How to know how much charge is there, how much formal charge is there. Okay, so just in the form of a chart I gave, now exactly we will calculate. Okay, right. So formal charge is equal to total number of valence electrons minus number of lone pair of electron minus number of shared pair of electron by 2. So this by 2 is there for number of shared electrons. Shared pair of electron is also called as what? Bond pair, because they have shared and bond is formed. So what we can write once again, formal charge is what? Nothing but, it is nothing but total number of valence electrons. How many total number of valence electrons are there in a particular atom or atoms where they are going to combine? Out of that, how many are lone pair? One pair, two pair, three pairs. And how many are a bond pair? How many are busy in the bonding? And it's half. Okay, so number of lone pair electrons minus half of the number of a bond pair, that gives you the charge on that unit, that particle, or the what a unit, or the ion, or the particle, any word you can use. That is called as what? That is called as a formal charge. Okay, right. So now here is an example. Ozone. Ozone is an example. Okay, right. So when you draw the ozone structure, it is like this. Okay, so O double bond O and O single bond O. So I have marked it as 1, 2, 3 because all are O only, all are oxygen only. So just to differentiate which O is participating, so I have marked it as a oxygen atom number 1, number 2, number 3. So in the case of oxygen atom number 1, we have one lone pair LP, and how many bond pair? There is double bond between 1 and 2. Okay, so 2 what a bond pair. Okay, between O and between the 1 and the what 2, and between 1 and the 3 if you find. Okay, so oxygen atom number 1 has got one lone pair and one bond pair. Now if you come to the second second oxygen atom. Okay, every time carbon comes, because we discuss more about the organic chemistry, so therefore carbon comes, not an issue. So second oxygen atom, where we have two lone pair of electrons and two bond pair of electrons between the 1 and the 2, whereas between the 3 and the 1 in the case of oxygen atom number 3, we have one bond pair and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 lone pair of electrons. Okay, now how to calculate the formal charge? How to calculate the formal charge? And whether they attend the octet or not. See, in the octet, again there are three types we learn in the next session. Okay, so exact octet means 8, less than octet, that is less than 8, more than octet, that is more than 8. So unless they attain stability, we can't count. Once they attain stability, then we will count how many are there. Okay, so here all the stability is attained. Now to calculate the formal charge on the carbon, oxygen atom number 1. So what is the formal charge on the number 1? It is the what? Total number of valence electrons minus what? Number of, what is the formula? Please see, don't by heart. So try to understand. Total number of valence electrons minus number of lone pair of electrons minus into bracket half the number of bond pair electrons. Okay, right. Now with the oxygen atom number 1. So formal charge on 1O, first O equal to what? Number of valence electrons. How many valence electrons in oxygen? Oxygen atomic number is 8. it is 2 comma 6. It is 2 comma 6. That means we have 6 valence electrons in oxygen. So that is first 6. Okay. So please see once again. So formal charge is equal to total number of valence electrons is 6. Now minus number of what? Lone pair of electrons on the one. So it is 2. Sorry, 6 minus 2. Then bond pair by 2. How many bond pair around the O? On the right side we have one bond pair, and on the left side we have the 2 bond pair. Totally we have 3 bond pairs around the O. So 3 bond pair equal to what? 6 electrons. So now let us apply once again formula. Formal charge equal to total number of valence electrons, that is 2 comma 6. 6 minus lone pair, what? Number of lone 2 it is. So 6 minus 2 equal to what? First you will simplify number of lone pair and the half the number of shared pair. So lone pair is what? Lone pair is 2. Then half the number of bond pairs. There are 3 bond pairs. 3 into 2, 6. 6 by 2, it is 3. So number of lone pair 2. 2 minus 3. How much? 2 minus 3, it is minus 1. Okay. So minus 1. So that minus 1 you have to remove from the number of valence electrons, that is 6. Okay. That is called what? That is called formal charge. Okay. That is given here. Please go through. Once again I will read. So the atoms have been numbered as 1, 2 and 3. And the formal charge on the central O atom marked as 1, that is equal to minus 6. Okay. So minus 2 minus half 6, that is equal to plus 1. In the same way, on the second oxygen atom, it is why I have made in this way. So it is equal to what? In the second, it is how much it is? It is 0. No charge on the second, and no charge on the what is charge on the third? On the third, it is the end atom O marked with what? With 3. So 6 minus half into 2, that gives you what? That gives you what? Hence, we are what is written here? It is mixed both. O3 along with the formal charges as dependent on what? Neighboring atoms. We will take one more example. Why this confusing atoms here? Okay. Formal charge on the carbon dioxide. Very easy, clear slide. Very clear slide. Okay. Now, formal charge for this carbon dioxide is equal to what? Total number of valence electrons. So how many valence electrons with the O? 6 minus number of lone pair. Number of lone pair. So we have 2 lone pair, one above, one below the oxygen. So total number of lone pair equal to 4. So it is 6 minus 4. Then minus half the bond pair. How many bond pair? So there are 2 bond pairs. 2 bond pair equal to 4. So half 4. That gives what? 4 by 2 is 2. So 4 minus 2. Then with that 6. Because what? 6 minus 6. That gives you 0. That means we don't have formal charge on O. In the same way, we don't have formal charge on the other O also. That means it is neutral. It is not carrying charge. So carbon dioxide is a neutral molecule. And if you calculate the formal charge for the carbonate ion 2 minus SO4 2 minus oxide 2 minus NH4 plus, you will get plus 1 only in total. Okay, that you have to sit and calculate. Now I have written at the what on the right side formal charge for the carbonate ion. It is neutral molecule. I have taken already. So CO3. CO3 structure is what? C single bond O, C single bond O, and C double bond O. Okay. Now for first atom, formal charge equal to. So total number of valence electrons, that is 6. Number of lone pair, that is 6. Minus half the bond pair, that is half into 2, that is 1 only. So 6 minus 7, that gives you minus 1. That means formal charge on the 1O is minus 1. In the same way, formal charge on the third oxygen is minus 1. For the second oxygen, it is 0. So what is the total impact? Total charge on the carbonate ion is minus 1 for the first, minus 1 for the last third. Together it is minus 2. That's why carbonate ion is minus 2. We can explain the charge on the carbonate ion either by loss or gain electrons using the 9th class crisscross method, or by the electronic configuration, or by the formal charge. You go by any route. Okay. So ultimately the answer is the same. So CO3 gets the -2. So formal charge on CO3 is -2. Yeah. Now, limitations of the octet rule. Again, same. That is what? Structure of atom chapter, periodic table. Okay. So plus points, minus points, together we move. So what are the minus points here? The octet rule, though useful, is not universal. It is quite useful for understanding the structures of most of the organic compounds, and it applies mainly to the second period elements of the periodic table. So there are three types of exceptions to the octet rule. Just a few minutes back I told less than 8 is there, more than 8 is there, so exact 8 is there. That means having 8 is the not only the what criteria. Less than 8 also we find many examples where they are stable. More than 8 also we have seen or we are going to see that they too are stable. That means having 8 is not the only whole and the sole criteria for stability. That is the limitation of what octet rule. Okay. Right. Now the incomplete octet of the central atom. Please see LiCl, BH2 and BCl3, boron trichloride, so beryllium hydride and lithium chloride, where we see between the lithium and chlorine only one lone pair. So that means maybe chlorine might have attained the octet but not the lithium. In the same way, in the case of BH2, beryllium hydride, hydrogen has attained the duplet. Okay. So whereas what about the beryllium? In the beryllium, we have what? 4 electrons, less than 8. So in the same way, BCl3, boron trichloride also less than 8. So all these examples, they are stable. They are stable. You have seen stable compounds of these, okay, in the laboratory. So that means they are stable by less than 8. So that means to say that 8 is the not only the criteria, that is the meaning here, that is the limitation. Now, odd electron system, odd electron molecules. So in molecules with an odd number of electrons like nitric oxide, NO, nitrogen dioxide, NO2, the octet rule is not satisfied. Please see the nitric oxide, N double bond O, where we have odd number of electrons, where on the nitrogen single electron is there. Okay, so on the nitrogen you can see the above 2 electrons and the below one single electron, and in between 2 bond pair equal to what? 4 electrons, 4 plus 2, 6 plus, only 7 is there. Okay, so that means nitrogen is odd electron system in the same way. Nitrogen in the NO2 also odd electron system. So being odd, they are stable. So again, exception for the octet. Now it is expanded octet, more than it. Octet will expand. See the case of PF5, phosphorus pentachloride, where we have seen how many bonds around P? 5 bonds. 5 bonds means what? 10 electrons, more than 8, expanded octet. Sulfur hexafluoride, 12 bonds, 12 into 2, sorry, 6 bonds, 6 into 2, 12 electrons. And in the case of sulfuric acid, okay, please see the sulfur. So 2 double bond, sorry, 1 double bond above, 1 double bond below, that is 4 electrons, and this side 2 and this side 2. So 4 plus 4, 8, 8 plus 4, 12 electrons. That means they are stable by more than 8, that is known as what? Expanded octet. So octet is expanded, has become more. Right. So, but examples are less are there, but examples are there. Most of the examples belongs to, that means we cannot apply. What is the conclusion of this discussion today? Conclusion is what? We cannot apply that octet rule is not the only rule to go for stability. Okay, so there are some stable. So that also we have seen today many examples. Okay, so now we'll go for the bond parameters. Characterization of electrons of covalent bond. Bond parameters. Ramalinga is a best boy, best student, best cadet. On what parameter? We calculate. Okay, we see his academic track record, we see his sports record, we see his behavior, any outstanding work by taking as an appointment he has done in the house at the school level. So how much is helping to the school? So all these are what? Parameters. So on those grounds, we decide best boy, best student, best teacher, so best scientist, So best molecule. So all these are called what? Parameters. And the best domestic fuel, LPG. Why LPG is the best domestic fuel? Because it has got high calorific value, parameter number 1, and low ignition temperature, parameter number 2. Then it is easy to transport, easy to store, and it uses less residue after burning. Okay, so all these parameters made LPG a special domestic fuel. So we have to depend upon the LPG only, not on the wood or on charcoal. So why LPG becomes so popular? It is because of what? Its parameters. In the same way, bond between the two atoms also they have some parameters. Okay, so that we'll discuss now one by one. There are totally 4 parameters for a particular bond. So a bond is explained, or a bond is characterized by the 4 parameters. One is length, angle, enthalpy, and order. Okay, so one by one we'll discuss. Bond length. Bond length. When two atoms approach spectroscopically, they see in the electronic cloud. So they draw some imaginary line. Okay, and that is called what? Bond length. It is the length between the two centers, the two atoms which are combining, and their what? Center. Okay, it is what? It is what? Internuclear distance, in different way. And that length is called as what? That length is called what? Bond length. So a length, a line which connects the two nuclei, that is called as bond length. Okay, if the bond length is more, what happens? Then it is for us easy to break. If the bond length is small, they are very close. When they are very close, very difficult to break. So the bond length will have impact on the some parameters. Okay, right. So all these are what about the information. Just to go by using the diffraction method, by using the spectroscopical method, either in the angstrom unit or in the picometers or in the nanometers. So in various small units they are measured. Okay, right. Okay, now see here. So radius covalent equal to 198 by 2. So that is equal to 99. Okay, so that was one small sample I have taken just to understand what is meant by covalent bond or van der Waals force of attraction. So van der Waals force of attraction is what? Between the two molecules, that means this one. So when two atoms are approaching, so these two are approaching. So between these two, what force is there? That is called van der Waals force of attraction, or that radius is called what? Van der Waals radius, or the van der Waals length. Whereas within the molecule, when you are joining the two centers, that becomes the what? Bond length. Okay, so within it is bond length, between it becomes the van der Waals force of attraction or the length. So here graphically, okay, lithium, beryllium, carbon, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, one set. Other set is what? Sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. All these are examples. They have drawn graph between covalent radius and atomic number. As the atomic number increasing, okay, so what happens here? Increase in the atomic number increases the covalent bonding. Okay, another bond length. See here, this is also I think from textbook only, the data just to support us. See, carbon carbon single bond, carbon carbon double bond, carbon carbon triple bond, and so on. Nitrogen nitrogen single bond, nitrogen nitrogen double bond, and triple bond, O single bond, O double bond. Okay, so in the case of diatomic at the left side, and on the right side between the more than 2. So all data is available nowadays. Okay, so in the books, so data is available. So data will support us in understanding the bond parameters. Okay, so factors upon which the bond length depends are bond multiplicity and size of the atom. What is bond multiplicity? It is the number of bonds between the two atoms. If it is single bond, okay, then bond length is more. If it is double bond, to form a double bond, they have to mix thoroughly. That means they have to come close. So bond length is less. And if it is triple bond, 3 pairs are sharing. To share 3 pairs, okay, they have to come so close that triple bond is formed. When they come so close, when they go for the triple bond, it is strongest bond. That's why nitrogen is Nitrogen is highly inert. Why? It is having N triple bond N. So one factor what on which bond length depends is what? Bond multiplicity. That is number of bonds between the two atoms. Now size of the atom. Size of the atom. So more the size, we'll have more the bond length. See, lemon, you imagine how when they combine. Watermelon, imagine. Or lemon, watermelon, apple, watermelon. As the size of atom is becoming more, so they go for the more bond length. When they go for the more bond length, then you have less energy to break. So more the bond length, less is the energy required to break it. Okay. So these are what the two important factors on which bond length depends. So I think Webex is saying it is already 13:08. So in 1 or 2 minutes, it is going to wind up. So I completed my discussion with you all on the covalent bond and the bond parameters and the three important octet, less than 8, exact 8, more than 8, and factors affecting the bond length and under the bond parameters. So till now, if at all any doubts are there, most welcome. Okay then. So we'll wind up. So thank you one and all. Thank you.